Kelly was coming to the gym because she had her own journey. She was giving herself a push, so she was in the gym. But she was like, go to the gym. So I thought, well, I don't want to go to the gym. I've tried the gym before. I don't know what to do. I tend to just like flounce around. I'll go on this, that, and the other. And I had no direction or anything, so I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it because I didn't know what to do. I'd come here, didn't understand what was for what. I'd come out, I want to make my arms bigger, so I just jump around on different machines and stuff. So, and then she said she'd spoke to you, and then I thought, why not? You know what I mean? I'll come and have a conversation, and we'll go from there. Like, but to be fair, I was at a point where I'd lost self worth. You know what I mean? I didn't like myself anymore. I didn't like looking in the mirror. I hate wearing tight clothes because all I could see was my stomach sticking out. And I just felt like I couldn't keep up with the kids anymore. You know what I mean? I'd lost my energy. I'd lost drive. You know what I mean? So I needed to do something to change. So I thought I'd give it a whirl. Like, so, and then we had that first PT session, circuit training.
Sick 3 times.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I did say to you, I dare you to try and make me sick, like, but I also thought he's not going to beat me, like, you know what I mean? My body might have gone to shit, but to be fair, my brain and my mentality was still in there. Like, I still had the drive, but I just lost the passion, you know what I mean? So, didn't like myself, but I wanted to like myself, so it was a case of what was the alternative? Sit at home and get even worse. The thing is, it's a lot of things in life. It's not giving up. You've got to push yourself. You know what I mean? It is mind over matter because if you don't let your brain give up, your body will just keep up. You know what I mean? Or at least it'll toe the line and say, "Well, yeah, we'll get there." Like, you know what I mean? I was miserable, mate. Honestly, you know what I mean. I used to be confident, or at least I used to put a good, confident facade on. You know what I mean? But I hated myself. I had no self worth whatsoever. Like I wasn't the body shape I wanted to be. I hated myself. You know what I mean? I had no self confidence. You know what I mean? I'd walk past and I'd look at everybody else and think, oh, you know what I mean? Look at it. They're so confident. You know what I mean? I wish I could be like. I wish I could walk around with no top on and think, yeah, look at me. But I didn't. You know what I mean? I tried to put a good like face on and pretend I was in a good place, but I wasn't. I was miserable and hated myself. It's easy sometimes to like to try and pretend to be something that you're not, but it was hard. You know, it got harder and harder to try and put that front on that I was in a good place because I wasn't happy with where I was at because I'd spent so long growing up being slim and like a racing snake, and then to put weight on and then have that roll around my stomach. I hated it, you know what I mean? I know it's a bit of a funny term, but I was a skinny fat person, you know what I mean? I had a small frame, but I had their rolls and just didn't feel comfortable with myself, you know what I mean? So I was conscious every time I put clothes on. I'd constantly be looking down at like my belly button with its big holes, like somebody had shot me in the stomach with a shotgun, you know what I mean? But I hated it. I was so conscious of it, you know what I mean? But all I owned was small clothes, so I didn't have anything that was loose fitting. So I was stuck to what I was wearing unless I went out and bought new clothes. So no, but even once I'd started the journey, I felt a lot better. But there was still that, oh, you know what I mean? I'm in the gym and like I didn't want to post any selfies because I didn't like the. I still didn't like where I was at, but I knew I was doing something to help it. But I was still going through that journey of you're doing the right thing, but you're not quite there yet. And then it was a case of I started to see the changes and I started to feel more confident, and it was like, well, I like this, you know what I mean? I feel better, you know what I mean? Yeah, it is an addictive, you know what I mean? And then there's that first post I put out, which I hadn't done for a long time because I wasn't confident, but I was like, I've worked hard for this, you know what I mean? I've put the effort in, I've put the grind in. Why not post like the efforts, you know what I mean? So, and I was at a better point and I felt more energetic and alive, but that energy pushed me on to go further and further and push myself. And it did take me a while to find a limit where I hit a stopping point, you know what I mean? Yeah, well, that was it, yeah.
Right, so our few questions this on. So what was different about this experience of like trying my method of things? And what's been compared to the things you've tried before having a conversation? Like, so what did you find out was like? Yeah.
I wasn't mustering on. So before, I'd see something and I'd try and find my own way of doing it, or I'd try and do what somebody else was doing, but not fully understanding why they were doing it or how they were doing it. So having somebody direct you and point you in the right direction, but not just that, but tell you why you're doing it and what it's going to lead to and what the end result's going to be, it made it worthwhile. It wasn't just a case of plod on and hope for the best. It gave me the confidence that what I was doing was leading toward a goal or something I was aiming towards. And it took all the confusion and thinking out of it. I came in, I knew what I was doing and why I was doing it and what I was aiming for. I can put aside the thought in my brain that my back's not going to be able to cope with something. I've always, well, since as long as I can remember, I've always worried about my back. If I've picked something up or if I've twisted funny and I've had a twinge in my back, it stayed in my brain. Oh, what, you can't do that because your back's going to hurt. But being able to chuck a weight on my back and move up and down with it, and my back still work at the end of it, blew my mind. You know what I mean? The amount of times when I first started with you that you gave me squats to do, and it was in my head constantly, ow, you're going to hurt your back, you can't do that, your back's going to hurt. And then it took like the 10 pretends to, I never thought about my back once. It was, shit, your chest's on fire, you need to remember to breathe here. And I never thought about it anymore, but from that point it was a case of, I walked to a squat and I was more focused on where my feet were, what my arms were doing, not what my back's doing. So I spent that long worrying about my back. It surprised me not to think about my back anymore, just to progress on worrying about where my ass is and where my feet are going and am I getting low enough and not, oh shit, my back's hurting. That competition I did, I've watched other people compete, but because I never rated myself to any standard, I thought a competition's something I'm not going to do. But to enter that charity competition and to actually hold my own and hit personal bests was mind blowing. You know what I mean? It's not something I thought I'd ever do, and it was a successful day. You know what I mean? I kicked myself on the day because I tried to put myself on a pedestal, but when I stepped back and thought about it, the numbers I was aiming for on the competition, I'd only ever hit once before, the week before. So once I got that out of my head and progressed with the rest of the day, my bench hit a new PR, and then the deadlifts, I even pushed myself with the deadlifts and said go big and go home, and got a PR on that as well. So that was massive for me that day, to be fair. And it's even opened up doors to say I'd like to compete again, you know what I mean? And yeah, 100%. It's something that I can see myself aiming further and further towards, just to see where the future will take me, you know what I mean? It's opened up a new door where I thought it would no door available. With training, you're planning your day around it, you know what I mean? So you know you've got to fit your training, so it structures what you need. I need to get this done, I need to get this done, because I'm going there for this time. So it structures the eating times as well. So I know I've got to eat because that food's going to be my fuel to find beast mode in here, you know what I mean? So, well, yeah, that so making sure you're prioritising your eating and stuff, but also you know you've got to get that session done, but you don't want that session to impact other stuff you're getting done. So you're up and moving around, you're not sitting down lazing around the house, you're getting your stuff done because you know you're aiming towards that session. So yeah, it's helped a little bit with knowing where I'm at and what I'm doing. So I've got more energy, I'm more alive, you know what I mean? I feel more like me. Before, it was a struggle to get off the sofa. All I wanted to do was stay in bed, sit on the sofa, watch telly, get lost, not have to think about life. Yeah, I didn't want to do anything. I had no go whatsoever. Like, so I'd just get up, I'd pot around the house, I'd just sit on the sofa and get lost in the telly, and then it was bedtime. You know what I mean? But now I've got energy. You know what I mean? I'm been whizzing around the house. I walk to the shops. I want to be moving around constantly. You know what I mean? So it just gave me that get up and go. Talk to somebody, or just try and like just move around, just one step at a time. Just pick an A to B, walk, start walking, just move around, get your energy levels up. But it's better to talk and tell somebody how you're feeling, because there's somebody that can put you in the right direction of what to do next, or what your best options are. You know what I mean? I didn't know what to do, but now I do know what to do. You know what I mean? I find myself helping other people. If I see somebody struggling, or if somebody doesn't know what to do, I'll either point them to somebody that knows what to do, or if I've got the answer for them, I'll answer the question for them and try and give them some advice. So one shoe doesn't fit everybody, but at least you can tell them what shoe fits you, and maybe it'll fit them too. You know what I mean?
And you've got the manual.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. I'd say give it a whirl. What have you got to lose? You know what I mean? For me, you've made me a better version of myself, and you haven't made me feel about a dick when I've struggled to do stuff. You took the time to ask me what was wrong and try and fix it, as opposed to just like being a dick about it, saying stop complaining and get it done. You sat there, you listened, you took on board what I said to you, and between us we made a workaround. It wasn't a case of get it done. You know, you've just been a fanny about it. You helped me feel like it was a good decision. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'd recommend, if somebody wants to make the change and just needs help, then 100%, yeah, join the Creedy method. And it's one of them, mate. You know what I mean? It's a journey, and it's helped me to realise you can't just get something just overnight. You know what I mean?
It's not a 12-week transformation, is it?
No, 100% no.
Everyone sells you a 12-week transformation.
But also, it's taught me to appreciate the little things along the way. You know what I mean? That extra 2.5 kilos, it's not a massive weight, but Jesus Christ, it's a fucking step in the right direction when you fail on a weight, and then the following week or 2 weeks down the line, you're moving that for reps as opposed to struggling to get it for one. You know what I mean? So it's taught me to look long term, as opposed to I want something doing right now. But it's taught me to appreciate the grind and effort that goes into it. You know what I mean? Whereas before, you don't appreciate it. You know what I mean? Because you don't fully understand it. You're looking through the window, look, saying, that looks painful, I'm not going to do it. Life changing to be sat there not wanting life, or not wanting to do anything, to get up and physically want to get up and move around and have the energy, and like people look at you and say you're fucking crazy. I wasn't like that for a bit. I don't want to do that now. I'm just going to sit down.